Alright, what's going on, guys? This is Sona64, and I'm finally getting back into making videos again because for the longest time I didn't have Sony Vegas installed. I reinstalled Windows a couple of times, and I just decided to upload whatever clips I recorded from playing in games, and I didn't make any like video commentaries. But I finally got it installed, and I have a topic that I want to talk about, and it's kind of comes from a video I was watching earlier by this guy I watch on YouTube called Salazar Studio, formerly Science Studio, and he was playing Battlefield 1 on his new computer that he built. That's like pretty decent, but he was using a controller, and I had a feeling like once I noticed that he was using controller because I didn't know. Like I don't really read into comments before I start looking at the video. Normally I'll like watch the video and then like while the video's going on, but like I don't see anything maybe going on in the video, I'll like check in the comments to see what other people are saying. But immediately I had to check the comments because once I noticed that he was using controller while he was playing Battlefield 1 on PC, I was like, why is he using controller? And I'm like, someone else had to have pointed this out because I noticed like a prompt on the screen that was like I think it said like uh, right trigger or something, and I'm like, okay, he's used a controller. Who else noticed this? And a couple of people pointed that out, and responses to those people pointing it out was like, oh well, using controller isn't that bad, and that's what this video was going to be about. I want to talk about uses in which I would grab a controller a over the keyboard and mouse. Like I mean, grabbing the keyboard and mouse, it sits there, but you grab a controller. And I think GTA is a good example to use because this is a game where I frequently switch between both keyboard, mouse, and controller. So for a while, I owned a PS4 controller and an Xbox One controller, but I gave my PS4 controller to my girlfriend so she could play Rocket League with me. And now I just solely use the Xbox One controller. I'm going to get another PS4 controller eventually because I do like how it feels. But I am using the Xbox One controller when I play GTA and also using my keyboard and mouse, my Razer Naga with the 12 buttons on the side and my gaming keyboard, and I use both of these in tandem because in some cases, like for example, when I'm driving and I'm not having to shoot anybody, like let's say you're driving from, well, this part of the mission I'm looking at right here, I'm driving the van over to an empty parking lot. Well, it's not really empty. There's a bunch of people we got to shoot, but I drive it over there and then I park the van outside of there. I get out the van and start shooting at people. So when I'm just driving casually, I'd rather use a controller because I have better control over the car and also I don't have to shoot anybody. But when it comes to shooting and some kind of accuracy, I will put the controller down and I will use my mouse because I can be way more accurate with my mouse than I can with any analog stick ever. So, in most games you'll play on PC, you'll probably be more accurate with keyboard and mouse. And some people say that they just prefer just doing keyboard and mouse over a controller in any case, like ever, just any case, they will only use keyboard and mouse. And I mean, I can only say that for shooters because in shooters, like say Call of Duty, if I play Call of Duty on PC, there's no way I'm picking up a controller. It's a Twitch shooter, and the more accurate and more precise you can be, the better. And the mouse is it's just way more precise. Like you can't be as precise with a controller versus a keyboard and mouse. I mean, if you're putting on, you can be accurate with it, but as far as being precise, because if you move the stick too far, it just takes forever to calibrate. And even once you get the calibration down, each game is different, so you have to test the calibrations. At least with a keyboard and mouse, you can switch the DPI on the fly and keep your accuracy. I mean, I don't really do that. I sort of kind of just keep uh, the same accuracy, the same sensitivity when I play. So I don't really switch on the fly, but you can, and that's one of the nice things about keyboard and mouse. So uh, GTA has both driving and shooting and flying, and I'd say for the most part, flying games and driving games, controller. There's no reason to use a keyboard and mouse because with a keyboard it's like on off. It's like you either press the key down or you didn't push it down. So you're either turning a hard left or you're not turning a hard left. Like you're not turning at all. You're going straight. And if you want to turn slightly to the left, you have to like tap it, and nobody wants to keep pressing buttons over and over again. So I'd say in driving games and flying games, you just need to use a controller. I mean, you don't need to, but it's recommended. Like for example, in Battlefield, also is I guess mostly a driving and flying game and shooting game, but switching between that and Battlefield just feels kind of weird. And flying, well, I wouldn't say flying, but like at least piloting a helicopter is much easier in Battlefield than it is in Grand Theft Auto or well, pretty much any game that I've flown a helicopter in. So I can use just a keyboard and mouse in Battlefield, but in this game, if I'm just gonna pilot a helicopter, which in most cases I am, I'm using a controller. That's just how that works because it's just so much easier, and I don't have to worry about like crashing and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe some people are just like, well, dude, you can use a controller because I mean you can, but I just feel like objectively. I mean, it's not really objectively because it's all about feeling. Because obviously people are going to prefer controllers over keyboard and mouse, but it just feels like objectively keyboards and mice are just way more accurate. So those are a couple of games that I use the keyboard and mouse in. Rocket League, I would use the controller in because I'm more comfortable with it. But as far as I know, the top players in Rocket League they use keyboard and mice. At least on obviously on PC. I want to say at least on PC, but I don't think they use keyboard and mice on console. I don't know if that's a thing. If it is a thing, it's not great. Last time I checked, so they use keyboard and mice because you can technically be more accurate, but it just feels like there's much more of a learning curve. And me coming from like console and me playing Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cars, that's a long title. For me coming from that game and playing on console and using a controller, I just feel more comfortable with the controller. I feel like it's better, but if the top players can use a controller or a keyboard and mouse and be better than everybody that plays the game, then obviously there's some truth to the fact that keyboard and mice are just better objectively. So, uh, I'd love to hear what you guys think about keyboard and mice and what games you'd use them in, and what games that most people say, oh, a keyboard and mouse is better, and you're just like, there's no way a controller is better than that, or the opposite, where like, oh, a controller is way better. There's no reason for you to use keyboard and mice, and you're just the kind of person who uses keyboard and mice in the game. I'd love to know some of your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching, and that's the end of my video. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.